Okay, now that we've gotten these items and we've delivered that magnet, we can go ahead and follow Artania and continue the story. But one interesting thing is this staircase here. You might be wondering why there's some gears right there. There's actually animations that were unused, especially with better high resolution of these pre-rendered backgrounds. That actually had this staircase actually like an escalator, which would have been cool. But for whatever reason, it's not in the game. I can only imagine it has something to do with they couldn't get it to work the way they wanted it to. I want to say this guy's, or at least his character model, looks familiar. And of course we get to name yet another character, which means we will eventually be acquiring their help. This would be Freya. She is the Dragoon class for the game. You know, lances and jumping and all that, you know, good stuff. Kind of like the Kain of Final Fantasy IX. Now here's another place. We'll eventually be reaching Burmecia. I'm sure it's probably pronounced Burmecia, but I always pronounced it Burmecia, so that's how it's going to be pronounced in my LP. Once we get there, it's as strange as it is, I really enjoy the music and atmosphere there. It's an interesting place. Kind of depressing, but cool nonetheless. So it sounds like for several months now, the tension between, you know, the main factions of the governing areas in this world have been kind of on edge lately. Active time event. Another Teach Me Mogster. My first synthesis lesson. Now this is actually the first point in the game where we actually have access to synthesis shops, and we're going to be taking great advantage of that soon. So as it sounds, basically we're going to take items that we can either purchase or have already acquired and combine them to create new items and weapons. For instance, the ogre is something that we require 2 mage masters to create, and it is definitely something we have to get in Lindblom. And what's interesting is, you know, Zidane has 2 types of weapons. He has the daggers, the 2-handed daggers, and then he has these blades that are like daggers on opposite ends of like a staff. So it kind of creates a double-edged, you know, weird type of bladed weapon. It's kind of cool. Okay, now this legendary synthesist is very in-game, final dungeon type stuff. Kind of interesting when we get to it. Okay, now what we should be able to do is talk to this Mudan, and I think he's got letters. Okay, we'll go ahead and save. And then we'll start exploring Lindblom. Now here's an interesting thing. This little note, comment, suggestion from a character named Lanny. We will actually meet that character later on. And let's just say it's not under the best conditions. Okay, new ATE, small town night in a big city. Okay, let's see here. We can go in here to go to different districts, but we're not messing around with that just yet. Now here is a throwback lock, almost certain to be a direct throwback to Final Fantasy VI, considering we are in a city or a town or whatever that just so happens to have a thieves guild. Locks a throwback to our thief from Final Fantasy VI, almost guaranteed. Now we could probably try a game with him. We're probably not going to win. But let's just give it a shot. So yeah, I don't like going first if the opponent was R1. Oh, that just tells you what the card is. If the opponent goes first, it's a lot easier to kind of place, you know, what you want. Okay. Okay, so we're doing pretty good thus far. Oh, we still win though, that's awesome. It's a shame we can't pick the bomb, but we'll pick the Zangel. Or Zagnol. And we're good. In point of fact, once we get to the Festival of the Hunt, we'll be able to take on the very thing we just acquired a card for, Zagnol. Very interesting creature. Now if we head over to the right and up, we will come across the little shopping district. Where we'll find the weapon shop, the synthesis, item shop, all that good stuff. Look at that, we've got ourselves another pair of silver gloves. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got the butterfly sword, which adds silence. The ogre, which adds darkness, which is what we definitely want to get for Zidane. We actually want to get both of them. So we gotta kind of, be careful here. The cotton robes are pretty good, and they're actually an easy way of making a lot of money. They sell for some good amounts, so the actual cost of a wrist and steepled hat versus creating the cotton robes, you can actually sell them for more than that. So it's known as the cotton robe trick. You can make a lot of money, but at this point in the game, it's not really worth it, I don't think. Okay, but we're going to go back and do some weapon shopping because we want to try to keep some stuff. I know we already mastered everything that's on the dagger and the mage master, but I'm one of those people that try to keep at least one of everything when it comes to the weaponry. It's actually going to come in hand way down the road, where we'll need some weaker equipment. So this here's the weapon shop. And here's another reference to Final Fantasy VII, specifically Cloud. Because it's talking about a very large weapon. Okay, so we're gonna get at least one dagger and 2 mage mashers. We also want to go ahead and pick up a javelin. Don't worry about the fork. Let's see, we have 3 equipped, 1 in stock. We can actually grab 2 of those. Get 2 of those. At least 1 of those, even though it's weaker, but it might teach something. Okay. Actually, while I'm at it, let's go ahead and sell half of our ethers. I don't think there's really anything. Enix pinions are worth something. But that's about it. The goal here is I want to make some new equipment, but I don't want to get rid of anything we may have not had an opportunity to master everything on. Okay, so we definitely want one of those. And there we can see that we still have the equipment, because if you go to something that I think you don't have any of, not only will the synthesis item not be lit up, it'll also tell you which items you don't have, at least one of. So we have 1 of each of that now. We can go ahead and get rid of 1 of these. Probably make another one. Okay. So I'm pretty sure if we go to leather wrist, we still got the 1 equipped on Zidane. So what are we missing? Gotta real quickly arrange my equipment. So we went ahead and made the butterfly sword, the ogre. We got ourselves at least 1 cotton robe and a glass buckle. I don't believe the robes can be equipped by Zidane is specifically like Garnet and Vivi. So what are we missing? Desert boots require a leather hat and leather shirt. And scarf need a feather hat. Which we have 3 of those, so actually if we get a feather hat and we have a leather shirt. So I know I can definitely get one of those. So, and I don't remember if the weapon shop had a feathered hat. I don't think he did. Nope, he didn't. Okay, so that can wait. Alright, what can we do with Zidane here? The bandit is nice to have. If you wanted to, you can actually leave Lindblom and do some battles just outside if you want to really gain some AP. The one that we really want is the ogre, and that's to get the soul blade ability, which will basically slap the status effect of whatever weapon add status it happens to have to an enemy. So like the ogre will add darkness, so you have an automatic chance to inflict it by physical attack, but the soul blade almost guarantees it, so that's what we want. Headgear, Undead Killer, that's pretty good. Steel Gill, Antibody. That's good for the timing. And actually, let's go ahead and at least keep that on for now. Okay, now that we've done pretty much everything in the shopping district, we can go ahead and head to the other districts that we can fly to. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like to leave Lindblom. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm GreKaosAngel. If you like the content and want to see more, click the video on the right to see the next episode, or click the video on the left to see the ones you've missed.